Hey folks, today I'm going to be diving into my production process for my latest single, Come Around. People are often surprised when I tell them that I am a producer and that I produce all of my music, so I figured I would give a little bit more air to that and let you in on my process, even though that feels weird because I don't actually feel like I have a process. I always sort of feel like I'm winging it every time. This song is a little bit special because the skeleton for it was sort of laid out in 2018 and I forgot about it. But yeah, here is the initial demo situation. It's 2018, everyone's guard is down, people are playing shows. Pre-pandemic, I'm touring like my life depends on it because it kind of does. And while I have a full live set and a body of work that I'm jamming with, I have all these sort of instrumental looping breaks in my set. One of these sort of loop a cappella lines of lyrics I had been playing with during my live sets was in my computer it's just called RL Let You Down Rough. All one word, and it goes like this.
When she comes round, don't stop, don't make a sound, don't lead her to believe that you wanna be found. And although your feet are planted on the ground, so you're running for the reasons the muses let you down.
So obviously a very embryonic idea, but like kind of beautiful, and I had I really wanted to keep it around. I didn't know what I was going to use it for, but I liked it and I wanted to keep it. And I kind of used it for my sets in between songs. On the production side, I had also been revisiting a lot of my early influences like Sisters of Mercy, Bauhaus, and I was also starting to get into bands like the Eurythmics, Bronski Beat, Pet Shop Boys, like iconic 80s pop bands whose music was, like, while being really synthy, also still pretty rock and roll in a lot of ways. I wanted to create a track coming in that just sounded like guitars without actually being guitars. I wanted it to be really harsh and really like hardcore, so this is what it ended up being, and it's called Sisters of Mercy Loop Thing. Clearly hadn't really figured it out, but it was that sort of relentless, like, bum bum ba-dum. I didn't really know what to do with either of these tracks. They were interesting to me, but I didn't have a place for them, so I kind of let them hang out in my hard drive for a while, and then in the meantime I was getting into string sounds. I'm not a string player, I play bass and guitar, but I think the affinity with strings comes from early 2000s pop that was on the radio, and I think a lot of it can also be attributed to my Celtic heritage. Strings and Celtic folk music is very much in my DNA that way. So it was like a combination of things, but I came up with this string line. Fast forward to this year, I'm looking at demos to put an album together, and I find this. I find all these tracks and discover that I could actually marry them in a really interesting way. Substituted the hardcore kind of rock and roll electroclash synth aesthetic for a more Jupiter-y sounding bass line that had a little bit more of a call and answer quality to it, and tied each verse together in a more satisfying way by changing things like the bass sound, the key so that it was easier for me to sing it. String hook into it. The a cappella round I had been singing, I started to see a really interesting thing happening. It turned into a song that I think is really strong. I hope this provided some insight to people and demystified the production process a little bit. I think often music producers get really stuck on something when it's not working on its own by itself, but I think that cool lesson that came out of this song was that sometimes the answer is just in another song that you're writing or another piece that you're composing. So I really appreciate anyone who's listening to this. I'm Russell Lauder, and this is my latest single, Come Around, available everywhere.